Welcome into a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here, presented by Go Chevrolet. Shout out to the boys, Lee Carney and Nick Richard. Great used car lot over there on Florida Boulevard in Sherwood Forest, right here in Baton Rouge. Remember, anything that you shop online over in Laplace that you're looking for, you can find them at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Go Chevrolet, Lee Carney, Nick Richard, the entire crew bringing you the Jordy Culotta Show every single day. We are packed here on this Monday. It's Friday for us, or for me, as I am going to take off to the beach here for a couple of days after today's show. I'll be back on the air Friday morning for sure. If anything happens over the next 72 hours, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we should have a crew in the studio, and we will give reaction to anything that could happen.
Bullpen is ready
for LSU's potential play for their new baseball coach. We will talk to Doug Thompson coming up here at 8 a.m. this morning and get Thompson's thoughts on the opening, who could be next. It looks like Mike Bianco is not going to be the guy. That officially being named last night. His services all over the Southeastern Conference were covering Mike Bianco's statement up in Oxford. As he said, Ole Miss is home for me and my family. I'm committed to bringing championships to Oxford. I'm proud of what we accomplished over the past 21 years, and I look forward to building on that foundation and achieving new levels of success. I want to thank Rebel Nation for the unmatched support year in, year out, and how they help make Swayze Field the greatest experience in college baseball. So you can scratch Mike Bianco's name off the list of potential replacements for Paul Mainieri, as his name was really the hottest of all of the potential next moves and what could have been next for LSU baseball. But Bianco out after a negotiation here, or a process of Scott Woodward.
Smokescreen number 4?
Yeah, I think if we're keeping count here, what number are we on? But this was the largest of smokescreens, right? I mean, this was a done deal. This was what we were talking about last week. We were not buying into the narrative that so many services, so many talking heads, so many radio stations were pushing the Mike Bianco done deal to LSU. It just did not make a lot of sense, and it didn't make sense because of who potentially the author or who is the author of that move in Scott Woodward. And we've said all along, Woodward, a big game hunter, and people who track planes and keep up with that stuff. It was easy to see on social media, and links were being sent and texted to me yesterday of the private LSU jet, that being in Omaha, Nebraska yesterday. And there is potential of so many names up in Omaha. Not so many, but I mean, you think of what could be next, and a lot of the guys that we have talked about that could be next for LSU baseball. Last week when the window was open on Godwin, on Cliff Godwin, and on Mike Bianco, with both of their seasons being over at Ole Miss and East Carolina respectively, that it would have been a very easy window to get the deal done. If those were your two candidates, and Godwin still might be in the mix, right? But if those two guys were the finalists, much like it was being reported last week, then the deal would have been done before the weekend. Because, I mean, what else are you waiting on? Mm-hmm. The faster you can get this thing moving, it is advantage LSU baseball. Players need consultation on summer programs. A staff needs to be put in place to recruit. You need to talk to your current roster about how you retain those guys, and you got to start building relationships within the program and within the community. The faster you can get that done is advantage LSU baseball. So the deal's obviously not done. There's still discussions and conversations and interviews that have to take place. So LSU's private air being in Omaha, Nebraska yesterday sets up a 48-hour window of all of these coaches and all of these teams having a day off. The teams that played on Saturday are going to play today. The teams that played yesterday are going to play on Tuesday.
And you're going on vacation, all very odd timing for everything.
Are you a third party? I got to talk to a certain guy.
Tony Vitello.
Track the jet.
Today would be the day on Vitello. Is that right, Noah? He's off today.
They played yesterday.
And they didn't show up. I mean, they did not get off the bus yesterday as they were swept 6-0 by the University of Virginia, where Brian O'Connor's name is another one that has surfaced.
Whoever wins the tournament, LSU won.
Well, O'Connor has an LSU tie, right? I mean, he's got the Maneri, and
nobody wants Vitello anymore because he loses one game in
Omaha. Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself. Talking about the boards.
If Vitello gets this job over the next 72 hours, I'll be waving the Italian flag on the beach, bro. I mean, swinging the Italian flag.
Bucatini.
Oh my God,
Bucatini on the beach, dude.
Did I see over the weekend that Giovanni announced he's coming back?
I think he should be.
I'm not.
I would imagine he'd go pro. He didn't have he'd injury.
Why would he leave LSU? He's living the life.
Amen.
Get the family together.
So before we jump into everything, like we said, we're going to talk to Doug Thompson 8 o'clock this morning. Shazz Preston, as it is recruiting season for college football, and college football recruiting has been on fire with official visits and
we'll ask
unofficial
him who he
visits.
wants as the LSU baseball head
Why
coach.
not?
What a
Why
name.
not?
Added to the LSU football name legacy.
The 2022 class is filled of the all-name team.
The coldest.
And there is dogs in the class of 2022, and no one barks louder at wide receiver than Shazz Preston. Our guy from St. James is the swaggiest of the wideouts, but he is also the biggest playmaker of the group. He is as close as a comp, and I hate to play the comp game because you hate to take away any type of accolades or attention that deserve to be on the player that we're talking about specifically, and Shazz Preston deserves all of the attention. He deserves all of what he's getting because he is a player. And as far as comparisons go, like I said, I hate to do it, but Jamar Chase, who we've just seen here recently over at LSU, and he's just a little different at wide receiver with his size, speed, strength, mentality, combination. Shazz has all of that. I mean, he is a playmaker. And then when he gets up, he lets you know that he's the best player on the field, and he holds that reputation throughout the 4 quarters.
That's what
I can't wait to see him play at the next level. A lot of people think that will be at LSU. He has seen a lot of campuses over the last 2 weeks. He's been to Southern California. He goes to Alabama tomorrow. He was at LSU unofficially a couple of times over the last week. He's been all over the country. Everybody wants him. LSU has him number 1 on their wide receiver board for the class of 2022. We will talk to Shazz Preston coming up here in 17 minutes.
Ain't no such thing as a 50-50 ball with Shazz. Dude,
no
that's
way.
100% his.
Jamar Chase mentality.
It's unbelievable. It looks exactly like Jamar. Like you said, I don't like to do the compare but even we told him that, and he was like,
loved it.
That's who I'm trying to model my game after.
Absolutely.
It is 100%. That's my ball.
I love when the wide receivers here have that swagger. When Jefferson and Chase, especially to Alabama, when Chase made that first touchdown and he just hit the gritty. And
they're all gritty inside.
Over Diggs.
They're legit.
Over Diggs when he goes up without the mouthpiece in his mouth, just flop.
That guy had a long day at the office.
It was so good. So we will talk to Shazz Preston coming up here at 7:30 this morning. 8 a.m. Doug Thompson to get us caught up on his thoughts. LSU basketball, and then Nick Underhill will be here at 8:30 this morning as Underhill will stop by and talk some New Orleans Saints as Sean Payton was married over the weekend. But we'll also talk some off-season moves. Yes, good
Sponsored by Pedialyte.
Wow, bro.
Dude, that's when you bring the trader in for the IV. There's no doubt he got some pregame IVs.
Cabo San Lucas for the weekend.
He's walking around with a gurney.
He's got He's got a pair of Jordan 1s on custom made for the weekend. So we'll talk to Underhill about some of the who's who, some of the faces that were down for the Payton nuptials. Also, some of the summer storylines to watch out for. Remember, everything that we read on New Orleans Saints football is authored by Nick Underhill over at neworleans.football, a great source to keep up with everything that's happening with the New Orleans Saints. So a little bit on that LSU baseball story. Bianco out as that was reported just about midnight on Sunday. Talk about a news dump.
Sunday night, midnight news
nearly
dump.
Snuck it past the Jordy Culotta show, but the young buck Noah Tingle was on it as his old man sent it over to him last night. And about 5 or 6 minutes before we went on air this morning, Noah was like, "Did you see what happened to Bianco?" I was like, "No, what, bro?" He's like, he signed an extension. I was like, say what?
Change the show. Flip the script.
Yeah, dude, he's staying in Ole Miss. He put out a statement and everything. So Mike Bianco is officially no longer a candidate for this LSU baseball job, and has long time been perceived as the guy, as the replacement.
So that's two now that have been emerging candidates or in the lead for the LSU head coaching job that are now, I would say, off the list. Pat Casey.
I've got three. Kevin O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan. And I feel like, not to rehash this because I know we've talked a lot about it, but I feel like if O'Sullivan, if they don't really find like that, I guess the dirty underbelly of his life, he would have been the hire, right?
Yeah. He was the coach.
Yeah, it's been a good scramble job by LSU to kind of get back in the mix and scratch candidates off the list as they've gone down before I stroke out.
I like the interview process and taking our time. If only we could direct that to a certain building on campus of the football complex.
Well, I think they recognize that, and I think they've taken over the hiring process. I think that's why you've seen, the move at offensive line and the thorough move. That didn't make a lot of sense for the public as far as the timing was concerned, but as far as the decision makers on that, timing was of no relevance because it was something that they had long had in the works. They had long investigated and made sure that they had their guy in line, and they weren't going to miss on two candidates. Right, so a sneaky name to watch here, and one in talking to again, some of the people that we have talked to on this, and like we said last week, I think that the most impressive part that Scott Woodward has done throughout this process is really show the LSU public, fan base, and media that there is a new way. There is a new way in which public relations is going to be handled within the LSU athletic department. And Scott Woodward, if he has strong suits, this would be one of them. He's got a political background and understands the value of public relations and understands the stresses of what happens when you have leaks within your organization. And LSU was a sieve under Joe Oliva. I mean, it was a high school cafeteria. It was a high school drama room where everything that was any piece of news was on the streets before even layers of the department would even know about it. But now it's so airtight at the athletic department that people are just kind of swinging and guessing.
That's what you kind of like, huh?
You love that.
He's giggling.
He is absolutely giggling. Every move is calculated.
Just laughing.
He is, because he's got his guy, and he is going through a very he's going down a checklist.
Litigious.
Yes, he's very much following a checklist and understands exactly the qualifications and what he looks for. And I will tell you that a name to keep an eye on, and look, we've been talking about the guys that we've been pushing here, and you can go back and watch any show from the last 6 days, 6 shows, and we are pushing Tony Vitello.
Coach of the year.
The Tennessee coach. They just won the Coach of the Year. Second coach in Tennessee history to win that one. Just turned around the Tennessee program over the last 4 years. As he called it, a blank slate 4 years ago, now has them in the SEC finals of the tournament and heading to Omaha. But another name to watch, and just people that I've talked to up there that I trust, and it's not giving me anything official, is Chris Lemonis, who's the head coach at Mississippi State, which Mississippi State, I think, through the first 4 games of the weekend has probably been the most impressive with their 21 strikeouts yesterday and holding Texas to a 2-1 victory, with Texas trying to beat down the door at the bottom of the ninth. I mean, it got hairy in the bottom of the ninth last night.
That's what all about.
It is, absolutely.
The tension.
Is Chris Lemonis, because not only can, and this would be a Woodward special right here, because not only do you pluck away one of college baseball's best coaches right now. I think that thing's defrosted. I think the ice is falling. off of our.
I thought you had the ice cube in your hand.
Off of our window unit, our AC unit.
Break news.
We're still looking for an AC sponsor out there. If you're an HVAC company and want good promotion, the Jordy Culotta Show's got a great gap for you right now. I'm telling you, man. We can strike a deal. Get in touch with Katie at jordyculotta.show.com. But back to the Bianco negotiation, or the Vitello stuff, and getting to Chris Lemonis. Sorry. Got off track there, and I was talking about Chris Lemonis, Mississippi State. Not only from Woodward's perspective do you go and get one of the best college baseball coaches in the game right now, which Lemonis has, Mississippi State, 3 straight years in Omaha. And by the way, that I had a college baseball coach tell me over the weekend, the way that you win national championships is just get to Omaha. That's all you have to do. It's just year in, year out, just go. And you'll get through the door at some point. And look at what Lemonis has done since he's taken over in Starkville. 3 years, 3 straight years to Omaha, and through the present status of this tournament has been the most impressive team by their 2-1 victory last night versus Texas, in my opinion. And look, I'm not the college baseball guy, but I saw Virginia blank Tennessee 6-0, and Brian O'Connor had a nice showing as well with his Cavaliers. And those are 2 names that have been talked about that were in that game with O'Connor and Vitello. But one to watch out for could be Lemonis. Now, I don't know from Lemonis' point of view, when you look at LSU and you look at Mississippi State side by side right now, if there's nothing more that is attractive to LSU other than the nostalgia of the job, like we've always talked about. But Mississippi State's got great history. They've got great support. They don't have the championships that LSU has, but they have the intensity around the program and the expectations around the program that are very similar to LSU baseball. Whether or not Lemonis would consider it, I don't know. But it could be a name to watch with LSU's private jet parked on an Omaha runway right now, and Scott Woodward obviously doing work. And he's up there in Omaha trying to find LSU's next baseball coach. So it'll be interesting.
And isn't that part of what you want to bring to LSU, is what he has built at Mississippi State in terms of the environment and everything that they have, like you said, circling Mississippi State baseball is just, it seems to be the who's who of a college baseball program now. That's what LSU used to be. And the way the fans travel, the environment they built at their home ballpark, he could bring all of that to LSU. That's what it seems like we're looking for in terms of, like, not only, like, we obviously want a good baseball coach. All these guys are good baseball coaches, but it's bringing a certain panache to LSU.
Absolutely. And Jimmy James says, inside of the bunker, right school, wrong coach. If LSU's talking to Mississippi State, Jake Gautreaux would be the play. And I've heard a lot about Gautreaux. I don't know if Scott Woodward is willing to give this job to somebody who has not been a head coach at this level. I don't know that for sure, but I would imagine that is one of the qualifications is going to be somebody that has at least sat in the seat and understands, just how rowdy of a ride it can be at times in running your own program. Gautreaux is great, and his reputation in the game is phenomenal. And I think he deserves a ton of success in which Mississippi State has experienced under Lemonis. It could be. He could be up there talking to Jake Gautreaux. It would surprise me if Woodward was to extend this job to somebody without the head coaching experience that the rest of these guys seem to have. So it's going to be an interesting next 72 hours, 48 hours for LSU baseball. I think that, like we said, there is a sense of urgency here, but there is also the qualification at the top of the line here to get this thing right. There's no rush, but there is urgency because, as we said, there is business that has to be tended to. I mean, you have players that need summer assignments, which has happened, but you also need coaches on the ground recruiting and keeping up with, just building your program, getting in, recruiting and building relationships and dealing with administration and all the stuff that comes with that title. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next 48 hours. One thing is for certain is that Mike Bianco is not going to be next at LSU baseball. And that is one name that has really been shoved down the faces of LSU baseball fans and been talked about at nauseum over the last week as almost a sense of guarantee behind the name that he was going to be next. And Bianco issues a statement last night saying he's at Ole Miss, 4-year extension. Both the administrators and Bianco were recognizing that the deal has been signed and that they're moving on.
Who's his agent? Because he just got, kudos to you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can float my name all you want. I'm sure Bianco, he's an LSU guy, I'm sure he's like, yeah, y'all can use me for as much as you want. That sounds great. I'll get an extension at Ole Miss and a pay raise.
Pleasure doing business.
Yeah. The Jimmy Sexton special.
Thomas Willie says the LSU jet returned to Baton Rouge yesterday. It was only in Omaha for about 4 hours. Do you know if it returned with Scott Woodward? That jet has a lot of business that is done for football coaches, basketball coaches, people that are out recruiting. It could easily just swing back down to Baton Rouge, pick up one of those coaches, go tend to some business, then get back up to Omaha and pick Woody back up and get him back down to Baton Rouge.
Not fly the thing.
Yes. So we'll see. Remember, our coffee is daily brought to you by Majestic Coffee. That is DeliciousSips.com. Our water is presented to you daily by True Blue Water, and that is online at trubluewater.com. And everybody that comes on the phone lines here today, which is all of our guests, Shazz Preston coming up here in mere minutes. We will talk to Doug Thompson at 8 a.m., and then at 8:30 this morning, we'll talk to Nick Underhill about the New Orleans Saints.
Did he get to go to the wedding?
I don't think so. I mean, we'll ask him, we'll get confirmation, but I don't think so.
You'd be hurt.
I doubt that he would be doing this hit if he went to that. If he went to that, wedding.
Still in my suit.
Yeah, right. So we will talk to them, and all of them are compliments of Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions. I was out at breakfast on Saturday morning and recognized somebody. Somebody came up to me and said, "What was that trip you were talking about on the show earlier this week on how we can go to UCLA, how you can go to the UCLA game?" And that is Metropolitan Health Group over there. Jason Ramazan works with Charlie Harvey at Metropolitan Health Group, and he also oversees Mr. Funds Travel, Mr. FUNS travel.com,
right.
MrFundsTravel.com, and they've got the exclusive package for you ready right there online and ready for you to commit to today. I sent her the link as we were sitting there at the table. And she sent me back a thumbs up that she was getting over there and said it was very easy to get her trip booked on Mr. Funds Travel to Pasadena. The news has been sent that California is up and moving. They're back. Venues will be at full capacity, which means that the Rose Bowl will be at 100% capacity for LSU UCLA. If you want to experience that, they've got hotel accommodations, they've got ticket accommodations, they've got airfare, all for you in this exclusive package for Mr. Funds Travel over there between LSU and UCLA. Check it out. Make sure you let them know that you heard it here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Shazz Preston coming up here in a couple of minutes. We got to talk about Ben Simmons melting down in the Philadelphia series in this Eastern Conference.
Dude. Just
in this Eastern Conference playoff series versus Atlanta. I mean, the numbers on the former number one overall pick are staggering.
6 last night?
I mean, 5.
Wow.
5 on 4 shots.
Four shots.
That's the more staggering number is the 4 shots.
Joel Embiid called his pass on a clean look at a dunk last night the turning point of the game. Doc Rivers said in a post-game press conference he doesn't know if Ben Simmons is the point guard of the future in Philadelphia. Simmons was asked about his offensive performance and recognized he's got to get better, and that is the understatement of the show up to this point. Simmons has to be the most overrated player in the league. We will talk about that coming up at some point before we get out of here at 9 a.m. But next we switch the theme to college football recruiting, and one of the top wide receivers in that sport, within that trade, is Shazz Preston out of St. James. He comes with size, speed, strength, and swagger. That is just it is unseen in this class of 2022. He is much a outlier of his game, and looking forward to talking to him again here on the Jordy Culotta Show as we will talk to him next when we come back. Remember, everything is presented by Go Chevrolet. Check out Lee Carney and the entire crew online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Nick Richard can get you taken care of. They've got a used car lot here in Baton Rouge on Florida Boulevard in Sherwood Forest, and then online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Shazz Preston next here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
He's a 69.
Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Remember, check our friends out over at AdvantaClean. Bradley Lynch and his crew can take care of you if you got water, fire, or mold damage. A lot of rain came through South Louisiana yet again over the weekend. I know Tropical Storm Carmen came through over the weekend, and some people in South Louisiana, specifically around the Slidell area, were affected. If you need help, get in touch with Bradley Lynch over at AdvantaClean. ADVANTA clean.com to get in touch with Lynch. Water, fire, or mold damage, personal testimony, they are the best. If you need them, get in touch with them. Easiest way to do that is online, ADVANTA clean.com. They're right here in Baton Rouge on Industrialplex. College football right now is in the teeth of recruiting. LSU has seen both of their camps come through over the last couple of weeks, and it has been a who's who of national recruiting. Everybody's come through here. Unofficially, the top wide receiver in the state of Louisiana was in Baton Rouge, and he's been everywhere. Officially was in Austin over the weekend, has been out to Southern California. He's got a trip to Alabama pending that's coming up later this week, and he's right here out of Louisiana. We've talked to him before, and he is electric, the swaggiest of wide receivers, a mentality that goes unmatched when you talk about size, speed, strength, and a combination of a mental makeup that goes into a recipe that produces the number one wide receiver, I think, in the country. If there is a better wide receiver than Shazz Preston, I would love to see him. He is down at St. James. Shazz, a couple of the crew were watching the highlights for the first time, and minds were being blown here inside the studio. It is good to have you back, man. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me back on the show.
Absolutely, bro. It's good to have you back on, man. The last time we talked, recruiting was kind of bottled up. Y'all couldn't go anywhere. Y'all couldn't do anything. Nobody could come see you. That has changed, and everybody wants to get their hands on Shazz Preston, and you've been all over the country. What has this been like, bro?
It's been a blessing for one. It's been a great experience. I've been to places that I have been, and it's been good. The coaches and the players and the recruits that have been treating me good. I've just been enjoying it.
Yeah, your trip to Austin over the weekend. You were at Texas. You've been to Southern California, to USC. You'll be in Tuscaloosa later this week. You've been to Baton Rouge. What's some of the things that have stood out?
Like I said previously, the coaches, they was outstanding at each university I went to. The players that's at the universities, they took care of me because every university I went to, I had a host. So the players took care of me. They showed me around the city, showed me around town, and all of them took care of me basically.
Let's cut to the chase, bro. Nobody cares about your trips to outside of Louisiana. Everybody wants to know about what happened at LSU last week.
I seen you, Texas.
How was it at LSU? I know that they have you very much high on the list. You're number one on the wide receivers board in this class of 22. Is so special. What was last week like in Baton Rouge for you?
It was great. I went there like 9 in the morning. And I ain't leave. Well, I stayed overnight, but Coach Nicky, and Coach O, they just explained how much they needed me, and the facility is nice. I took pictures, and that was cool. I seen the locker room for the first time. I seen all the upgrades. So I ain't been to LSU in a while, so I seen all the new stuff finally. Yeah, I know I'm probably behind, but it's cool. It's cool. I got to get updated, but they showed me around the facility, and we went out to eat a little bit. They just took care of me.
Yeah, man, they rolled out the red carpet for the 5-star. They want you.
Get that 7 jersey on.
How did it feel in that purple and gold? How did you look in that purple and gold 7?
I look good to say. I look really good, but you gotta earn a 7 over there. So I gotta find if I decide to go to LSU, I gotta find a number to put myself in. So.
How do you want this process to work? You're in full control here, right? I mean, everybody's coming after you. So how do you want this to work? When do you want to get to your finalists? When do you want to make your announcement? How do you want to handle your visits? How do you want this thing recruiting to work for you?
Honestly, I haven't really decided when I was going to make my decision, but I'm looking at each school, and I really got a whiteboard, and I'm taking notes as I go. I think one coach knows that already. I don't know how he knows that, but yeah, I have a whiteboard, and I take notes on the whiteboard. It's a big whiteboard. I just take notes on each school. So I've been checking all the boxes at each school. What's great about it, what's not great about it, and if it has my career field. And I think I've really been doing a good job checking all the boxes.
Shazz, your brother plays at Mississippi State, and one addition that LSU has made to their recruiting staff that I don't think a lot of people talk about that you can give insight on because you're one of the most decorated wide receivers in the country and everybody's coming after you, is Mason Smith, not the defensive tackle that signed with LSU last season out of Thibodeau. Mason Smith, one of the recruiting analysts that has come over from Mississippi State. A lot of you guys have talked about the relationship that you guys have with Smith kind of behind the scenes and what he means to recruiting. I know that you have a very valuable relationship with him. What is that like, and what does he mean to the process for you in LSU?
Well, Mason, he was the one that offered me when he was at Mississippi State. He was the one that offered me, and he was telling me that I had like a full scholarship. Like say if I would have told my ACL, that was a lot of schools would probably drop till I was told my ACL. But he was like, Knock on wood, though. Knock on wood.
Yeah, don't be talking
Everybody
about
over here is on their knees right now, bro. I get what you're saying. I know what you mean.
But
you put that knife in your leg.
Yeah, he said it's still gonna be a full scholarship because my education is important. So that just shows me that how much he cares about me and cares about my family and loved ones.
Yeah.
But Mason Smith, he was the one that tore they gave me the tour around the whole facility, the whole day, the last 2 days. So he's a good guy. When he was at Mississippi State, he called on me. He worked 2 roles. He worked the second brother, and then he checked on me in the recruit. He did both parts.
Smart man.
Get in with the Preston family.
Smart man.
So he was all in. So that's a good dude. That's my dude. My mom and dad loves him, and we just treat my family.
Look at that. Shazz Preston, who is the top wide receiver in the state of Louisiana. A great follow on Twitter, and you can keep up with him at Shazz Preston 7. That's 2 Z's when you're talking about Shazz Preston. You blew up in 7-on-7. Everybody was coming after you. This is another off season for you going into your senior year. What are you looking to improve on? What is your focus for you, the player, this off season going into your final year of high school football?
I really got to work on being a leader. I got to work on stepping up to the plate. Got to take the big role in my team, my high school team. Because we got to get back to the dome for my last year, But I think for my game, I got to work on a little bit more my agility, my speed, and my route running. Because you're going to get so good at it, you can't. There is no limit in those things. So I got to get back to the lab with it. I've been traveling this whole month. I think after this month, I'm just focused straight on my team, on my football, and my football talents and skills. So I'm gonna get back.
Take our listeners to a Friday night of St. James versus Lutcher and what that feeling is like for the towns, the communities, everybody around there. I have been lucky enough to call one of those games on radio for the state of Louisiana and have seen it up close. I think it's probably one of the top rivalries in the state of our game in high school football. As a primetime player in that game, what is it like?
First of all, that whole day is crazy. So first of all, school shut down at 12 o'clock.
You want to see school shuts down on Thursday?
Yeah, school shut down at 12 o'clock. So, and then the day it goes on, you can just feel it. You can just feel it, especially when you pull up to the stadium. Everybody surrounds the bus and all. It's a great feeling. It's like any college game, basically. But during the game, you can feel the energy. You can feel you can obviously you can hear it. Like it's just a different feeling. Like you just have to be there. Tailgating. Like if you can't even go in the game, people watching from their RVs and from the trucks. They bring TV. It's crazy. It's really crazy. But usually they have barricades on all 4 corners of the stadium. It's a great feeling, and I think we handle it well. We get hyped with the crowd and stuff like that, but we take care of our business.
Where is that game this season? Where is it your senior year? Is it at Lutcher or is it at home?
Oh, they come play at St. James.
Sounds like he's ready for that Tiger Wall.
Yes, he is, baby. Robert Valdez and the St. James Wildcats. Looking forward to that one coming up between St. James and Lutcher. This class of 2022, I know that you have not decided where you're going, but can you speak to the state and the talent that you guys have? You're one of you're if not the best wide receiver in the country. You're one of the best wide receivers in the country. Walker Howard's the same at quarterback. Will Campbell is the same at offensive tackle. Jacoby Matthews is the same as a defensive back. Quincy Wiggins is blowing up down here in Baton Rouge. Can you talk about the talent that you guys have in this 22 class in just the state of Louisiana?
In the class 22 in Louisiana, I think we're the best class that comes through. If you're going to be honest, we got players. We just don't have special players. We have great players. So we have receivers, linebackers, O-line, quarterback. You can name it. If you name any player, we had it. So, and we go to places and we go dominate. We represent our state. That's what I like about it. We don't go out. We don't go outside the state and, not rep our state. So we do a good job, and I think we're the best guys that come through.
Shazz, and I'm not saying this as pushing for LSU. I'm just saying if LSU was able to just recruit the class of 2022 within the state of Louisiana and not even go outside. I know they went outside and gotten the #1 tight end and Jake Johnson in Georgia, but if you just recruited this state, you guys could be playing for a natty in 2 years, I think, just because of the talent and what y'all have in playing. I know your dad is a fantastic coach and very close with Mickey Joseph, the LSU wide receivers coach. What is he urging you to work on this offseason, and how has he been in this recruiting after he's seen your older brother go through it, and now that you've got every college in the country knocking on the door?
Well, Mickey Joseph, he's been there since 8th grade. He offered me when I was in, I want to say, going into my sophomore year because I went to camp there. So he plays a big. He's been watching me. He's been telling me that I was going to get the offer, and when I get it, he's going to stay on me. And it's showing that he's staying on me. But Mickey, he's a good dude. Him and my dad been close ever since my brother was in the process. He's been telling me that I was dominating the offense and that he want me bad, and I just gotta stay home, And he's just putting the pressure on it, but he's a good dude overall.
Shazz, Jordy mentioned the class of your recruiting class. How close are y'all together? Does it seem to be kind of like a tight-knit group? You're all in a group text together trying to decide where you want to go and put on for the state, or is it kind of like a mixed mash of where people are getting offers from and where they want to go?
So basically, the good part about that is half the top recruits is on my 7-on-17.
Yeah, bootleggers.
Yeah, so I'm really close with all the top recruits in Louisiana, so that's a plus. But recently I went to Orlando IMG for the 50-50. I was with Will Campbell, Walker Howard, Dakota Matthews, and AJ Johnson. So we were like the only people from Louisiana. So I got to spend time with all the Louisiana, them top guys, and we just connected with them. So basically, you could say we in a group chat, and connect to each other. But I know we all know the top recruits, and we all get along very well. So there is no stranger in this thing.
How busy is your phone? Are we getting close to the burner phone territory where coaches are just blowing up your phone so much? I feel like, no, it's not that.
If no's a yes.
Yeah. Do you love this? Do you love this process? You have to, huh?
I love it. Yeah, I love it. I knew it was gonna be real. Honestly, all honesty. When my dead period was done, like when I was qualified, like to get text message stuff, like soon as 12 o'clock hit my time, my phone instantly blew up. That's what I know.
That's so awesome.
Things hot in my hand.
That's so awesome, bro.
I went to my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm getting all these text messages at 12 o'clock at night. I'm like, do these people even sleep?
No, they don't.
Yeah, they're dreaming about Shazz.
So, like, mind you, I got school the next morning, so I'm in my bed halfway sleeping. So,
do not disturb.
Shazzy, enjoy every second of it, man. You'll never have this time back in your life, and everybody in the country is coming after you. Like we say, the next time they draft you, you get to pick them through this process.
Right.
Enjoy it, man. You deserve every bit of it. You are the swaggiest of the wide receivers in the whole country. I love the way you play. I love the way you represent our state. Best of luck with this decision. Best of luck in your senior season. We're going to catch back up the week of that St. James Lutcher game, man. Have a great summer.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me back.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. You don't got to worry about that 7 either. It'll be there for you.
Yeah, it'll be there. Shazz Preston checking in this morning from St. James. If you have not seen his highlights, bro, I mean, like we said, I hate comps, but is that Jam Chase? Is that
personality,
Jam?
Like, from the top down,
like,
dude.
I
Just
dare you to
moment.
throw that ball up in the air and see who comes down with it, bro. I mean, he is a dog by every sense of the definition. Robert Valdez has a absolute winner. Shout out to Coach Valdez for helping us out with that. Sean Preston, who is Shazzy's dad, was a big help in setting that up as well. So shout out to him, Coach Preston, for giving us some help there and getting Shazz on this morning as he is headed to a 8 a.m. workout, and then tomorrow morning after their workout, they're getting in the car and they're heading to Tuscaloosa for an unofficial visit to Alabama. Name a school, they want him. LSU's as high on the list as anybody, and he gave you some background there. Sean Preston, his old man, is best friends with Mickey Joseph, who is LSU's wide receivers coach. And understands how much Shazz Preston, I mean, Shazz Preston, as he said, they offered him as an 8th grader, and they've been in touch with him ever since. And in a class that is decorated, in a class that is uber talented, in a class that has so much potential within the state of Louisiana, Preston's the best wideout of the group. He is a instant game changer when you put him into the class. So appreciate him for stopping by. That was cool, man. He's got a great personality, easy to talk to.
And you can tell that you talk about being nationally recruited. He said 12 o'clock my time. So he's getting texts from all over the country. It's like, it's just Central Time.
Can you
it's
imagine
not
what
just
that's
Louisiana.
like? Laying in your bed.
Imagine in class. Oh, sorry, teachers.
USC, Alabama, Georgia, Florida.
That's Nick Saban.
I got to take this one.
One second. Coach Saban, look, man, I gotta go, bro. All right, thanks to
bullshit. I'm talking to Nick Saban.
Thanks to Shazz Preston. Remember, we're brought to you daily by RMB Builders. RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois and the crew can help you with a commercial project. They can help you with a reconstruction. They can help you with a total overhaul or a remodel. RMB Builders has been great for a lot of people on our staff, including Katie, and now over at the house working for me. Love the organization. Love how fast and timely they get their crew in, crew out. Very good communication. RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois and the crew, rmb-builders.com. We'll come back, get you set up for 8 a.m. We'll talk to Doug Thompson. We'll switch the narrative here, get back to some college baseball, get Thompson's review on the College World Series up to this point. Paul Maneri's legacy after Thompson has had a front row seat calling games for the network over the last couple of seasons, and who's going to be next for LSU baseball as Mike Bianco officially out yesterday as he puts out a statement in Oxford after a 4-year extension handed down to him by the Ole Miss brass. Happy belated Father's Day to everybody out there. Hope everybody had a great Father's Day yesterday and celebrating that. We'll talk to one of the psycho dads of Little League Baseball, Doug Thompson, here in 10 minutes on the Jordy Culotta Show.
A loon. He's yelling at the 8th grade umpire.
Fuck!
Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah.
Welcome back in here to the Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. Shout out to Shazz Preston and his crew for stopping in on that last segment. Man, as good as it gets. Great personality and as good as a player. I mean, can you post a link? Put that link to the huddle inside of the YouTube bunker chat app.
Dropped.
It's unbelievable. I mean,
parents are watching their kids just get destroyed.
He's Jamar Chase. As we said, happy belated Father's Day to you out there. Hopefully, yesterday was a good day for all the fathers in our listening audience.
Do you think Shazz is just like in his car, like at practice, or like, bro, we got to get stretched? He's like, bro, I'm on the phone. Like I'm good. I'll get there when I get. Yeah, I'm loose. I'm going viral.
Dan Mullen.
Jordy Culotta.
I'll be right back.
That's unbelievable.
Going into the weekend, this is something that I think was, to me, this was the telltale sign, and I don't know if I told the crew this or I told my boys that I have the text thread with this on Friday when I saw the news pop that Nolan Cain had accepted the job as the recruiting coordinator at Texas A&M under new head coach Jim Schlossnagle. I thought that was the telltale sign that Bianco was not the guy and that Woodward was still negotiating and trying to find the replacement here, because whoever was to get this job within the first week, while there was still a staff somewhat in place at LSU, was going to talk to Nolan Cain. He's just too good at his job. I mean, forget the LSU ties. You see the respect that he has within the league. As Schlossnagle, first hire he makes on the field is bringing Nolan Cain onto his staff because of just the relationships that he has in recruiting. And when I saw Cain get out of Baton Rouge almost, uninterviewed and non-contacted, told me that there's nobody in place. There's nobody in sight because, from that perspective, just because Cain is such a viable candidate as one of as a top assistant.
We had the number 2 recruiting class in the country.
Year in, year out.
I mean, that's what he does.
I mean, he just steadily just brings in top classes. So congratulations to Nolan Cain, another guy that has been just fantastic to work with, but has been a great friend in just kind of seeing him build that recruiting department at LSU baseball. And in the manner that he has. But it was reported over the weekend he's joining the Texas A&M staff. So shout out to him and his great wife, Kristen Cain, as they have been very proud LSU and Baton Rougians in their time here and now moving on to College Station.
So even if we don't have the Bianco news, that would speak volumes as to the LSU hire, wouldn't you think, if it was just a Nolan Cain getting another job?
100%.
That means that they're bringing in, whoever the candidate is going to bring in their entire, their staff that doesn't really have any ties to LSU.
100%. I think that is absolutely easy to read between the lines of what this move is going to entail. I mean, it's going to be a total overhaul of what we've seen of the LSU baseball program the past 15 seasons. It's going to look completely different. And when it initially opened up, that was kind of our stance here, was quit living in the past, was really the message. I mean, stop selling me 1991 through 2009. Start selling me on 2022 and beyond.
It's so far. It's so long ago.
It really is.
Right.
And
It's hard to
now.
put that into perspective, but that's a long time ago.
in a recruit size. I mean, let's
They
think
weren't even
about
alive.
it. They're 18 years old in 2022. I mean, they probably don't even know what you're talking about. They got no idea. Like I said, I mean, anybody, older uncles, dads, people that love the game within their family, yeah, you can talk that stuff in recruiting to those people. But when you sit down and talk to the player, you got to sell them on how you're going to make them and give them an experience of now and how you help today and how you get them to a higher draft status now. And that's got to be, at least one of the top checklist in marks and what I would imagine that Scott Woodward is looking for here.
And I'd imagine being a recruit, it's like, what kind of bill of goods are you trying to sell me on 1991?
Yeah, right.
He's like, I don't give a shit. Like,
Right.
where are we? Like, what are y'all
born.
talking about? Like,
Sure.
what y'all do? Show me now. Show me the last 5 years. So understand that. And also think it's good on the LSU brass because we talk about how Auburn does their hirings with football, and they don't want people to bring in, like, they want to hire their staff for you. And it's like, well, I'm not taking the job unless I can bring in my guys. So LSU seems to be playing that tune to where, like, look, you can have the job, you can bring in you have autonomy over your program, which is, I think, a good way to sell it.
Great sell.
Yeah, it is a great sell. It's a fantastic sell. And like we've been saying, is that the LSU baseball experience is not one that needs to be revived from the dead, right? Like, I mean, all of the facilities and everything that you have from a resource standpoint is unrivaled, or there's nothing better.
It's not like we're Nebraska football.
Exactly. I mean, you're not
But
Notre
you're
Dame.
charting on
You're
that
not,
territory.
This-
This could be the part where you start being a MILF instead of a hot daughter.
the hire could bring you there, but I'm saying that what you have at your disposal,
God.
resources, roster, you know what I mean,
Guys in the
is
bigs right now.
is absolutely. I mean, they're a recruiting class away to me from being back in Omaha.
Right.
I mean,
I
you
mean-
saw what we did. You saw what LSU did this year. I mean, the Super Regional run
enough
was not
arms.
even on the radar.
They got
that
two
put it
All-Americans,
together. Yeah,
Right.
two freshman
The future is
All-Americans,
bright.
and Dylan Cruz I saw was named by Perfect Game as the freshman of the year, the national freshman of the year. So
It's just that the atmosphere just needs a little.
Little-
Yeah, just
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
EKG to the heart,
that's right,
dude.
man. A
Yeah.
little shock,
more
Yeah.
arms.
little shock.
Little bathroom trip.
Doug Thompson spends a ton of time in Alley Box calling the games for the LSU Sports Radio Network. He has seen it all up close and has great perspective on the communication with present day recruits. There's a lot that we can talk to with Doug Thompson. Give me 30 seconds. We'll reset. We'll have Doug Thompson, DT9, on the other side of this one, as the Jordy Culotta Show is driven and powered every single day by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Gearing up for spring and... Welcome back in here to the Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Shout out to Shazz Preston for stopping by in hour number one. We talked about the LSU baseball hire and some of the reaction to the opening part of the bracket of the College World Series, as we've seen Mississippi State, an SEC team, yesterday hold off Texas 2-1, and the Longhorns late push last night in the bottom of the ninth. But Mississippi State able to hang on, which was a very impressive performance by the Bulldogs with 21 strikeouts. Kind of revived the memory of Brett Laxton's performance in the 1993 Natty game when he mowed down 16 Wichita State batters. Doug Thompson is part of the LSU Sports Radio Network. He understands the landscape of college baseball with his role on the network, but really just loves the game and is around it at a very young level in coaching his boys on the Little League park. And we were talking, Doug. Doug, good morning. Happy belated Father's Day, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy belated Father's Day to you as well, all the dads out there listening. Great little Monday morning beat there. Coming in.
Thank you.
That's nice. I need that. Somebody shoot me that track. That's good stuff.
That's unlicensed music by Spotify, bro. We'll get that over to you.
Yeah.
I like it.
Doug, we're talking about the emphasis of communication these days, and we saw that Nolan Cain took the job at Texas A&M, which Jim Schlossnagle got a great one in Cain, but I thought that was very much a telltale sign going into the weekend that LSU was still open. The job was still open, because I thought whoever had gotten the job, one of their first orders of business would have been to pick up the phone and call Cain to see if he wanted to stay, just on how good of a job he's done. But the emphasis of communicating these days in recruiting, how good Cain is at his job and what he meant to the LSU recruiting staff, and just kind of that part of baseball from your point of view, Doug, just how important the role of the primary recruiter has to be on a college baseball team right now.
It's everything. And the reason is because that landscape of recruiting is changing so quickly. I mean, when I played baseball, to think that a freshman in high school or sophomore in high school would have actually been able to sign a scholarship with like a team like LSU was, it was unheard of. And now that's a very real thing. And that's why that guy is so important. That guy has to cover so much more ground now and look at kids at such an earlier age. I mean, they're signing kids out to 223 already. And some even later than that. So it's a bizarre world now in college baseball. They're really scooping up these kids earlier. And I tell you, if you're one of those people out there that think Nolan Cain, first of all, wasn't good at his job, you've got to look at his history. He's had 5 years of doing it. He's had four scouting classes in the top, ranked in the top 4 nationally, one in the and the other in the top 10. And right now he had 3 top 5 recruiting classes in the books for the next 3 years. I mean, Nolan Cain is exactly what you're looking for in a recruiting coordinator. He's great with the parents. He's great with the kids. He plays it by the books. No one works harder. I mean, I talk to Nolan a lot. He is literally always on the road. No one notices when Nolan Cain's not in the third base coach's box, but I do because I know where he is. And he's out there somewhere watching a pitcher or hitter play because it's that important. So huge loss for the LSU program, huge loss for the LSU community. He and his wife Kristen have been around since they both played ball for the Tigers more than a decade ago. So I think that's a big one. I think that's a very impactful loss for LSU. Look, but when a coaching change is coming, right, Scott Woodward and those folks that he's working with, he's one of the best there is, right? And they know that there's going to be potential turnover. When you lose a head coach on retirement, they get fired, whatever it is, right? You always know that there's a risk of losing some stars on the coaching staff, potentially a couple players currently, considering the portal is wide open. Like anybody could leave that wants to leave. And then maybe there could be some things that happen in recruiting as well. But when you're a program like LSU, those are things that you consider and move forward on because, of course, those things are going to change. But you're still LSU, and you still feel like no matter who you bring in here, hopefully the core stays. I mean, you got 2 Todd Walkers on that team. So anybody say Nolan Cain can't recruit, to have Dylan Cruz here and Trey Morgan here, both with the second and third best years as freshmen ever. 150 years they've been playing baseball, 125 years of LSU baseball, and these two guys had two of the best freshman years ever. Wow. And with all those big arms in the bullpen, it's just preposterous to think that losing Nolan Cain is no big deal or we're better because of it. The hats off to Jim Schlossnagel. That program just got better.
Agreed.
It seems like LSU didn't put up much of a fight for Nolan Cain. Should it have been as easy as it was for him to leave and go to A&M?
Well, I think all the parties were in a tough spot there because, again, LSU knows very well how valuable Nolan Cain is. Trust me. I mean, I know that for sure. And I know that if LSU could have had their way, they would have kept Nolan here for the next 10 years. But unfortunately, when you're bringing in a new coach, right, they're going to want to bring in their guys too. I mean, Cliff Godwin's one of the best guys I've ever met. And I know for sure that if Cliff came here, that he's going to go to every one of his assistants that, of course, he's very loyal to and say, you want to come with me? Now, Pat Casey wouldn't have necessarily because I don't know that he necessarily had a staff. So I did think that there was some chances for Nolan to stay. But unfortunately, that didn't work out. He's had to make the move that's best for his family and take that opportunity from Jim Schlossnagel, who's a hustler, and he's got a knack for kind of rebuilding programs. So watch out for Texas A&M. Maybe not next year, but the next 2 or 3 years with a $40 million stadium improvement in the budget, and that program's going to be on the rise. So, again, tough loss for the Tigers, but you got to move forward, and hopefully we find a good candidate here pretty soon.
Doug Thompson is joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. You can catch him on the LSU Sports Radio Network calling LSU baseball in the spring and summer. Doug, as a fraternity member within the LSU baseball playing career within the fraternity there, what is the scope of this job in just the salesmanship of this job when you look at it in being vacant right now? How do you view this job and it being open?
Well, you got to have good support around you. You got to find a good guy to bring in the players. Get 3 of the kids that they think are the best shortstops, and you pick the one that you think most wants to be at LSU. You have to be able to do that, right? Then when they get there, you have to be able to motivate them day in and day out, because it's very easy to get there with all of the things that they have and become complacent and assume that you're going to win games because of the purple and gold on your chest. So you have to keep kids locked in. And then you have to be able to embrace the community. You have to go to all the events. You have to do the speaking engagements. You have to become involved in the community in a respectful way with a lot of high character and class. And I know that Scott Wilburd's going to bring that guy to this campus. Unfortunately, this morning I saw that Mike Bianco has put out a statement saying that Ole Miss is where he'll stay. And, as a former player, of course, that's a little bit of a heartbreaker because you naturally would love to see someone come in with the line to Skip Bertman and maybe bring in some of the flavor of the past. But again, I think it will also be important for this head coach, if it's not Cliff Godwin, or because he's got some experience at LSU and I think understands the culture a little bit, that this new guy has to understand it's a little different at LSU than it is, I guess anywhere else. Sure. When you talk about the history of the program and how intense the fan base is and how much people really care about it here in Baton Rouge. So those things likely, Jordy, will be something that the new guy, whoever it ends up being, has never seen before unless he was at a program like that, such as Mississippi State or Ole Miss or somewhere like that. But it's a different place. It's one of the best, programs in the country, has been for a long time. LSU has always got a good chance to play in the postseason. And Jordy, as you know, in late May, early June, magical things happen to that program, and they have for 20, 30 years now. And if the Tigers get into postseason play, there's a 50-50 chance they get to Omaha. And if they get to Omaha, there's a 50-50 chance that they end up in that championship final. So whoever takes over this program is getting the Lamborghini. And I can't wait to watch the direction that they take it.
You got a legacy thought on Paul Mainieri and what you've witnessed in calling his games from the point of view that you've had and just somebody that cares so much about LSU baseball like you do, what the last 15 years and under his direction has been like?
Well, I think I briefly communicated back and forth with Coach Manera, and I told him that, as a former player that cares a great deal about the program, the way that he managed that program for 15 years with such elegance and class. We never heard about an LSU baseball player getting in trouble. And all of those kids, they all seem to be great kids. I know a bunch of them. They're all incredible human beings. So he did a great job of teaching them the game, but also teaching them how to be good people. And I told him I had a great deal of respect for the way that he managed that program, because it's not easy to be in those shoes. No matter who you are, including Skip Bertman. Nobody remembers before 1991 when there's a little scrutiny even starting to surface with Skip Bertman. But it's not easy for anyone. And Paul carried on the tradition, and he managed that program with a level of respect and class that it deserved. And I'm very proud of him for that. And look, I mean, this guy is the winningest college baseball coach, the active out there. I mean, think about that. You talk about the 10,000 hours thing, with the Outliers book. Yeah. I mean, this guy's got 10,000 hours of wins under his belt. What an incredible career. We were lucky to have him. He clearly cared about the university. The emotion in his final kind of farewell speech was striking to me. He was dealing with a lot, and I respect that he walked away and said that he just wasn't able to give to the program what it deserved. And I got a lot of respect for Paul Manera. I can't wait to see him. I'm going to hug him when I see him, and I look forward to the communication I have with him moving forward. And I hope that he's out at the box as often as Coach Bertman is.
You have seen 3 of these College World Series team up close, with Vanderbilt squeaking past Arizona on Saturday in 12-7-6, and then yesterday both SEC teams in action as Tennessee fell 6-0 to University of Virginia, and Mississippi State, which I think was been the most impressive performance in Omaha, hung on for a 2-1 win versus Texas. But after their pitching staff sat down 21 Texas Longhorn batters with strikeouts, which was a College World Series record. A thought on the CWS before we get you out of here?
Well, I heard you mention Brett Laxton. I thought Brett Laxton's performance was way better than those guys last night. Of course, I'm a little biased, but no, I'm kidding there. Wow. I mean, that was as explosive and dominant of a pitching staff as I've ever seen. I watched the last inning. You know how much I love umpires and referees, Jordy. And on a couple pitches there. Now, the one that missed just off the plate, that's fine. And you could see the kid even talk back to the umpire and say, I missed off there. But he threw a pitch right down the middle that looked like a strike to me, and it almost cost Mississippi State the game. What an incredible final there. You can see that in Omaha, it's all about winning, and that's why I love college baseball the most, because it's never over, especially at the end of the year. You never know what a team's going to do when their back's against the wall. And what a battle last night from Mississippi. That was just an incredible baseball game, I thought, on both sides. And in Vandy and Mississippi State, Jordy, I think that having to get through 2 nail-biter battles like that only suits them well coming down the home stretch, right? I mean, they're more battle-tested under those lights in front of that crowd, and they got the W's. So pulling for those guys. We're pulling for the SEC, of course, now. Even though the Tigers can't be there, we still want to see one of those teams come out as a champ.
You mentioned the legacy of LSU baseball and how much that, I mean, you're a key piece in that. You lived it. How much does that go into the hiring process for LSU? When you mentioned Godwin being a part of that, a part of the LSU coaching staff, is that something that could tip the scales in terms of who they hired, like understanding the legacy and how important LSU baseball is?
Well, I think it will help that person's transition. The more you understand it, whether you're a coach that has battled it out in Baton Rouge for years and years and years, and you get it. You get how special it is. You get all of those things. Or you're Cliffy Godwin, who's been here, and he knows. He knows how crazy everyone is about the sport. He knows how passionate the fan base is. He knows the speaking engagements he's going to be involved in. I think that'll make it easier for him or someone like him to take on the role. So, yes, I really do think that it makes it easier for Cliff Godwin in particular, but I'd really have to look at the other guys, too, to see, of the targets out there, who's more familiar with what's going on here in Baton Rouge.
Douglas, thank you as always for the knowledge and the time, man. Enjoy the rest of the tournament. And as we said, happy belated Father's Day. It was great to hear from you yesterday. Thank you, man.
Y'all have a good one, man. Have a great week.
You see it? Yep. What?
Mitzi.
Yep. Yes, sir. Is what I meant to say. Doug Thompson checking in there. You see that though? The hold the ropers. The Skip staff. They want that line to Skip Burtman. And
they called him Cliffy.
Yeah, but that's Maneri's guy.
Yeah,
that's Maneri guy.
But I'm just saying that's the tie into the LSU baseball program. Yeah. Like they all have a feeling that they want somebody that they can trust almost.
Yeah, there has that lifeline.
Right.
Just that lifeline of LSU baseball, right? So Doug Thompson, as we said, one of the key figures in the history of LSU baseball, there joining us for a little bit of his knowledge here on this Monday morning daily. We're brought to you by Elevate. Remember, ELEV, the number 8, treatment.com to get in touch with Elevate and what they have going on here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They are a treatment legacy center helping you with drug and alcohol rehab and dedicated to treating patients who are battling drug and alcohol addiction. You can get in touch with them online, and you can actually start your treatment there online. It's a tough phone call to make. And some people don't like to make those phone calls, obviously, but you can do it all online. ELEV, the number 8, treatment.com, Elevate Treatment and Legacy Center right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Let them help you with your addiction issues today, drug and alcohol rehab right here in Baton Rouge. Appreciate Doug Thompson for stopping by here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We will talk to Nick Underhill in about 10 minutes. On the New Orleans Saints. Big news for the Saints was that Sean Payton was married over the weekend as he married his girlfriend Skyleen Montgomery down in Cabo San Lucas.
What a pick!
Which was a 5-star resort down there. Had a who's who of the New Orleans Saints franchise and players and administrators down there in Mexico celebrating the weekend. So we'll see what type of insight Underhill can give us.
Didn't get an invite that thought they'd get invited in terms of roster.
That's a good question.
Did you see who officiated the wedding?
Was it Avery Johnson?
Avery Johnson.
I love it.
It's just a party, dude.
I love that, bro.
None of this
Bring Avery on
this
down.
Is serious.
Why not, man? Hey, man, I'm going to get married.
Yeah, you wanted to officiate? Put the collar
a great
on.
excuse for us to have a party. So we'll talk to Underhill here in a couple of minutes. We talked a little bit about this, and if you are a basketball fan, obviously, of the NBA, this is the time of the year when you're locked in. I mean, playoffs are as good to watch as anything, man. You got 2 Game 7s over the weekend. Milwaukee outlasts KD when KD is playing as to me the best player in the world.
He picked it up. We put it. It was
absolutely.
Can you pick it up? And he
did.
He absolutely picked up the mantle, and that's. But I think the thing is with this Brooklyn team, and we were talking about it a little bit before the show, is if you just roll the ball out and it's like NBA 2K or whatever, like they're the best team in the world. Like there's nobody that can beat them. But when you put the human element and the egos on that team, that's why you don't do it. You can't put these people together. Kyrie can't play.
Game 7, ankle injury. Are you kidding me, man? It was your decision to put these guys. It was your choice to bring them here.
Is he not?
They're the reason why you're here. And you're sitting and watching Game 7 with an ankle injury? I mean, you would believe if he was on the floor, he could have been the difference in getting them over the hump there. KD did everything he could have done in that series, I thought. Backed up by his Game 5 performance, which was I thought that was probably his best game he's ever played.
Ever.
The other thing
Yes.
is 48 points is the most scored by any player ever in any Game 7.
Wow.
Like any Game 7 in NBA history.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
And he was on, cuz.
I don't think he's ever off.
I don't know if he is either, but I don't remember him having this. I mean, I guess I do. I hate to speak in those types of terms, but he's just playing. He's on right now, man.
Right.
I mean, that easy money sniper.
Post Achilles.
It just is. And the way he's very smooth. I mean, he's
So
gliding.
out
He's
there.
gliding out there, and the way that he plays, he's very easy on the eyes to watch play basketball. I mean, his game translates very well to television, and just Devin Booker has the same sense. And the way he just moves around out there, he's almost like water in the way that he finds the holes and finds the cracks. And
Nowhere's a bad shot for me
You
either.
ever see the
it's
Rutgers Park video? Where
Yes.
straight through?
Yeah.
He shuts the court down.
Yeah.
But obviously the NBA came back too quickly because you can see it through the injuries, and everybody's not at full strength. But the one good thing that's come from it is you get to see a little bit of hero ball again, which you haven't seen in years, like since Kobe retired almost. that these guys like KD is out there going, I'm gonna score 50. Right. Like I gotta.
Well, I have to.
I'm not. Yeah. Like I'm not passing the rock. This is my game.
Yeah, he's looking at it and saying, I have to.
You don't get to see that anymore. So it's been cool to see people just absolutely pick up the torch and I have to go off. I have to go nuclear.
Like Ben Simmons.
Jesus.
For as much as KD helped his legacy. And just the talking points around his career and the way that he's played over the last week. Joel Embiid had the similar type of reputation, not hit, but advancement with the way that he's played. Ben Simmons is drowning right now as far as his reputation in the game. I have seen so many pundits and so many talking heads refer to him as one of, if not the most overrated player in the league. One of them, and then Shaq last night went in on Ben Simmons, calling out nearly his manhood, talking about being a former LSU player and having that fraternity lifeline between Shaquille O'Neal and Ben Simmons. But for somebody that covered Simmons in the year that he was at LSU and watched him play, I cannot really say that I am overly surprised to see as much of the struggle as he's having at the next level. And simply, I say, because I don't think he loves basketball.
He looks so
I don't
unenthused.
think that he cares about the game enough to be a great player.
He likes the perks that comes with it.
He definitely loves the life. He loves the life. I mean, I can remember when the choice in the lottery was coming down to Philly and L.A., how their side was pushing L.A. so hard because he wanted to be in Hollywood and he wanted that life. Now, look, man, I'm not saying that an 18-year-old kid choosing L.A. over Philadelphia makes him checked out as a basketball player, but it was much more he was much more concerned about the lifestyle around the game than he was in developing his own game. And to see him 4 years into the league and be really and truly scared of the basketball. He was scared of it. He didn't want to touch it. He didn't score a point in the fourth quarter of any game in the Hawks series. His free throw shooting percentage is the worst in NBA playoff history in the history of the league since they've been collecting stats on a player that had a minimum of 70 free throw attempts. He shot 33%.
Capella shooting better.
He shot 34% from the free throw line. And I'm wondering how he shot 34% if you watched him play. He looked like me being handed the ball in a Game 7 at standing in front of 30,000 people saying, make it. I mean, I would tighten the hell up. I'd run. I don't want anything to do with this moment.
But you go 1 for 3.
I think that I probably could once I just kind of calm down.
Yeah, you missed the first one.
Especially if I've been in the league for 4 years. And to see him in the way that he has recoiled, the way that he has
turtled,
just unbelievably tightened up and cannot play on that stage.
No.
Nobody had his back last night.
No,
his coach handled it professionally, but if you read between the lines,
he totally took a shot.
He's saying he's not the guy. Joel Embiid is saying that the turning point is when Simmons stared at a dunk in the face and passed the ball out. I mean, 6'9", 250 is above the rim and decides, I don't want any part of it, and pitches it out to everybody. I mean,
dude, I know what's happening.
I know what's happening.
On Twitter. I just put it together. I just put it together. He's trying to play his way into L.A. He's pulling a Blake Griffin. He's trying to play. He's represented by Clutch Sports. He's a LeBron guy. He's trying to get himself to LA right now.
You think LeBron wants that?
Yes, he does. Dude, he did that on purpose. He just sandbagged himself out of Philadelphia. You could almost go Lonzo Ball for Ben Simmons straight up, and they would probably take it at this point, how badly he's representing Philadelphia. He's trying to get out of Philly. He's going to find his way to the Lakers.
Well, he's done in Philly.
Done in Philly.
I know he's going to be a Laker.
I don't see him.
I don't think LeBron wants him.
He's too close to LeBron. If you look at the way Simmons plays,
I agree.
Big point guard that'll pass the ball. But what LeBron had was some sort of a jump. LeBron's hadn't been a great 3-point shooter until the past couple of years, but when he came in the league, he had some sort of jump shots.
yeah,
Something that looked like a jump shot.
Always a
Ben Simmons
mid-range.
doesn't have it.
I think
At
he's
all.
trying, but this is LeBron transitioning in his career to a different player. He'll probably hang out. He doesn't want to bring the ball up the court anymore. Like he just can't. He physically can't do it. 82 games.
I don't know what he does. I don't know what
Ben
he
Simmons
can
brings
do.
the ball up the court and
Yeah, but
distributes.
I don't know.
He's a soccer player.
But yeah, I can find that.
I just think he wants that.
I'm not paying.
Well, he's the best defender.
not
He's one of the
paying
best defenders in the NBA.
Yes, but that is. But to me, that's so frustrating in watching him play.
In the NBA, defense, in my opinion, other than like rim protectors and somebody that'll go shut one person down, is overrated. Okay, someone that'll get 3 steals a game doesn't really matter because it's going to happen, no matter who the player is. In the NBA, you have to be able to shoot the ball and score points, and you see that with Donovan Mitchell, who's a good enough defensive player but can go get you 40.
Yeah.
Devin Booker had a 40-point triple-double last night, and he was drafted the year after Simmons or the same year?
Yeah.
I think it was the year after. And so like, you have these players that can go do that. You're not going to pay somebody $30 million to play defense.
Yeah, and I mean, he's so frustrating in watching him play defense because he exerts all this energy on defense, and then there's so many times where you catch him on offense where shots in the air and he's drifting back.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't. It's like he's not even checked
He
in.
has completely let what everyone says about him get in his
to him.
head.
It is.
And he doesn't want to touch the
I
ball.
think he's just checked out. I think he's trying to get to LA because if you're telling me
That Kardashian
oh,
curse.
dude, they get you, dude.
I mean, they are
get you down
undefeated.
bad.
They're undefeated.
No,
It's like a-
they're not undefeated because Devin Booker is dating Kendall Jenner.
But
And
it's
he's
not
still
over.
going. It's not over.
You know what I mean?
wait.
He's still
Just
under the
wait.
spell. I mean, while they're under
Kanye
the
hadn't made
spell,
music in 15 years.
it's unbelievable. I mean, Chris Humphrey, have you heard of him
No.
since then?
Dude, talk about Rod the Lightning. He just grabbed a hold and got
that
sent right back down to earth.
That 40-day marriage.
I mean, Lamar Odom, Tristan Thompson.
She
I
nearly
mean,
killed Lamar Odom.
She tried to. Just, I don't know, man. And now
man.
Ben
The
Simmons,
brothel.
dude. Simmons is
Down bad.
It's hard to watch him play.
I think he's doing a Blake Griffin. I think he's pulling a fast one on us in the era of smoke screens that we're in these days. He's trying
possibly.
If you're
I
telling
don't know
me,
if I'm Lakers management, if I'm looking at that saying, is this what we want?
You know what
though?
the biggest contract is?
I mean,
179 mil.
If I see him anywhere, it'll be Orlando. I mean, it's going to be a team that's just going to be like, hey,
the land
please
of the
give us
dead.
can we
something.
sell some tickets?
Give us something.
you want Markelle Fultz back?
Who's turned into a nice little player?
Maybe it's
mean,
Philly, dude.
Honestly,
I
to
mean,
to
I wonder-
boot Fultz, Fultz can get you 5 points on 4 shots.
all day.
So-
what was he averaging? 18 at the end of
Yeah,
the
I mean,
year?
he was getting triple
I mean,
doubles.
put
I
that
mean-
on the poll. Would you rather Markelle Fultz or Ben Simmons at this point?
Or Jimmy Butler. They had Jimmy
was gonna
Butler
say
on that team.
I was just gonna say
They let
that.
Jimmy Butler walk
To pay Simmons.
to pay Simmons and Tobias Harris.
If I'm a Philly fan, bro,
You're that guy.
I mean, you are that guy. I mean, we tweeted out the guy. Did you see that rant that I tweeted out this
Just
morning
burning
from
the
the
jersey.
Jordy Culotta show Twitter? There's a 2-parter to that, and the second part might be funnier than the first part.
What's the phrase he says, dude? It's
crumb bum.
Crumb bum. Dude, it's an old Philly mayor from like the 80s that says he's talking to a reporter. He's like, "Oh, you crumb bum," and this guy brings it back, so you know he's Philly to the core.
I mean, he's steadily
Taking
saying,
shots.
"My city, get this crumb bum out of my city, Ben Simmons, you mother bleeper." I mean, dude, it is.
Somebody tells him to shut up,
Yeah,
and he just
somebody's
rattles up
like,
and
"Shut
F
up!"
you.
He's like, "F you."
They handled it well.
You can get it too. I
There was
mean,
only one
dude,
water
it's-
bottle on the court. I thought they were
But
gonna
the most out of control scene has been in Phoenix. I mean,
There's another
they
fight.
brawled last night.
Was it
in-
Subs and 4 again? Was it that guy?
No, they brawled like
He's
in
ready
the
for
in the
his next fight.
terminal last night within the Clippers. I mean, the Clippers and Suns fans like brawled. I just hawked a loogie in the microphone.
NBA playoffs.
yeah,
Phoenix has
right.
been waiting for it since Nash
Yes.
and Stoudemire. Like,
Yes,
they've been
and that's what got them in trouble in the
so
first
ready.
place, was fighting on the court.
All right, we got to get to Nick Underhill. Daily, we're brought to you by Johnson and Spillers. They are our dentist here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, get in touch with Dr. Johnson, Dr. Spillers. 2 locations, Baton Rouge and Gonzales. JohnsonSpillers.com is where you find him online. Ben Simmons is painful to watch.
It's in LA right now.
It will be a long off season for Simmons. Give me 20 seconds, reset. We'll come back with Nick Underhill right on the other side here, the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet every single day. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.com to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.com to learn more. Welcome back in here to the Jordy Culotta Show. Another poll question that we'll put up. Do you think you could beat Ben Simmons one-on-one if it was a jumpers-only game? If you could play from 10 feet out, if the game had to be played from 8 feet out, 8 feet from the rim out, do you think you could beat Ben Simmons in a game to 12 by ones? I mean,
yeah, he would just try to, his game plan will be dribble down and then just hook
get to that 8 feet mark.
Yes. So we're
get to that 8 feet mark.
You could definitely beat him in horse and jumpers only horse. He's done for, which is sad. If that happened, they need to have that Philadelphia go play him in horse.
New Orleans.football is a must read if you're keeping up with New Orleans Saints. We tell you all the time, man, there's really only one source with the best news for New Orleans Saints, and that is Nick Underhill. He's over at neworleans.football. If you were a member on his site, you get things like the Members Only podcast, which is fantastic, where you can find out things like the future of Payton Turner and how he fits into that defensive line, the first-round pick out of Houston. You also get great write-ups, man. Nick Underhill, his writing skill, his information is very much unrivaled when it comes to Saints information, and we will be telling you how you can purchase some advertising within neworleans.football here in the coming weeks and months on the Jordy Culotta Show, as we've got some combo packages we'll be putting out for the fall.
Just trying to get a membership
for football season. Very easy to do. Neworleans.football. Nick Underhill is the author of that site, publisher, and he's joining us now here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Good morning, man. How are you?
Good. Hey, you know what's kind of crazy? It turns out that Ben Simmons not being able to shoot a jump shot in college or hitting 67% of his free throws turned out to actually be something to worry about.
The numbers don't lie, right?
From a guy that watches tape.
That's right. That's right. Anybody surprised? Joke's on you. We were saying that earlier. And when he left that season, Nick, I really questioned, and just watching and covering him, whether or not he really loved it and whether or not he really loved the game to where you could put him in Philadelphia and he'd work on his game and he could become a perennial all-star player. And now it's been done on smoke and mirrors. And, when the lights are the brightest, I mean, come to find out, he doesn't even want to shoot. He's scared of shooting it. It'll be a long offseason for Simmons for sure. The offseason is underway in the NFL, and Sean Payton is celebrating down in Cabo San Lucas. Did you get an invite? Were you invited?
No, I've moved a couple times, so you probably think I'm my new address. Yeah.
No doubt about it, bro. I thought the same thing. I was like, Underhill's could have gotten lost in the. Where do you think the cutoff is for that? Who do you think was probably like, damn, man, I didn't make it.
Down bad. Payton didn't give me a call.
I didn't make it.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if Darius Bird was upset. I don't know. I don't know where the cutoff line is. Maybe Brandon Browner. I don't know.
Brandon Browner for sure.
Brandon Browner.
Do not let this man in the building.
No way. They got security with Browner's picture. Everybody's got a picture
we'll
of
put hands on you and hold you.
That's right. So offseason, obviously, is the top storyline this offseason for the Saints? Is it the quarterback, or where are you looking as far as number one storylines for the black and gold go into a post-Drew Brees era?
So I think the top three are probably, quarterback for sure. I mean, that's where everything starts and stops. And I'm starting to gain more confidence in Jameis Winston. And this is definitely just like Instagram post scouting and listening to interviews. And it's really not based on anything that's real or tangible. But he's saying all the right things. The videos he posts on Instagram, and he has a photographer that posts a lot of stuff too. All that stuff looks good. Just seeing a guy that can throw the ball 45 yards down the field effortlessly and on target it's a change for people that have watched the Saints. And Jameis's leadership qualities just come through every time he talks. So those two things, that's got me excited about seeing what he can do. But obviously, we're not going to really know anything about him until everything's under pressure and we see his decision making. So that's number one. Number two, I think, is still cornerback. And they got to figure something out there still, I think. I can't imagine that they're just going to ride with what they got. I still feel like they're going to go out and they're going to sign somebody. They got $6 million in cap space. They can afford to make a move. Garyon Conley's still out there, Richard Sherman, Steve Nelson. One of those guys, it just feels like you need to bring somebody in just to create a barrier that's a little bit stronger than Patrick Robinson for the rookie Paulson Adebo to overcome. And if you sign someone and Adebo wins out, that's great money that you wasted or, just building out your depth. Because he needs someone, it just has to be stronger than Patrick Robinson. And with Lattimore likely being out for a couple games to start the season, I just think you need a stronger number two option. And then I think the third one is just last year's number one story going into camp is still the top story is just how does Cesar Ruiz look at guard. He's going to start out there. They're going to keep Eric McCoy at center. So they got their plan going in this year. Last year it was switched. The plan was to have Ruiz play center, McCoy play guard. They're not going to start that way, but he's got to do a lot. And, I think that interior offensive line, they got to keep things cleaner than they did last year for Breeze because you have a quarterback now, whether it's Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston, that's much more prone to mistakes. And you put them under that interior pressure and they see it coming at them and it's coming quick. That's how you're going to start getting turnovers and things start to get a little bit sloppy. So I think that would probably be the top three.
First mini camp comes and goes here in this offseason, and the Saints get their first look at Payton Turner on the field. What was the return of the first-round draft pick out of Houston with the Saints just getting to see him in a limited capacity here early on?
So the main thing for him is that he was able to find out pretty quickly what he didn't know, and that's what he talked about all week is that, you don't know what you don't know until somebody teaches you what you don't know. And just the detailed coaching that he was able to get, I think, is really going to make a difference for him. And, they were getting into things just as fine as how he raises his hand up off the ground, when he's getting off the rush to passer and just all kinds of different little things that he can do. And look, he's one of those guys, you talk about Simmons, like, would he go to Philly and work hard? I think Payton Turner is going to be somebody that works extremely hard. His attitude is just, he's excited about everything. He's excited about being coached and learning things and just being around. And he comes from a long lineage of people that, are high quality athletes. And he's got probably 12 or 15 cousins or uncles and parents and just different people that played high level sports. And, that's just kind of in his DNA. So I think he's going to get better really quickly. He is raw. He's coming in. And I think you can draw some comparisons to Marcus Davenport just in the sense that they're both big guys, both play defensive end, both small school players. But I think it starts to veer when you start getting down into the finer details of both guys. And, just starting out, I don't think Turner's as raw as Davenport either. Very, very first thing you turn on the film of both guys in college at UTSA, Davenport's standing up the rush to passer. Like he couldn't even get his hand out and get off and get after the quarterback. And he still plays like that most of his snaps. With Turner, he's down, he rushes. He just doesn't have quite as a refined rush plan as maybe a guy that went to Alabama did. But you get this coaching, he takes to it quickly. I think he can get good pretty quick. Probably be the number 3 guy in the rotation. And after that, I think he's probably going to have a pretty solid future. I think his floor is pretty high, and I think he's probably going to be pretty good for them.
Something that I don't think is talked about enough is the question mark surrounding Michael Thomas. I feel like he was out last year for it. How seriously was that ankle injury? And I feel like he's still kind of that thing's still lingering. So how badly was he hurt last year? And is he expected to be 100% this year?
Yeah, you're right. We left that off the top 3 storylines. That's definitely something that is quite important for this team. So the ankle injury last year, it lingered the whole season. And going into that Philadelphia game, actually, they're on the plane going to the Philly game. Thomas, he just tells the team, he says, hey, look, this is going to be my last game. I'm shutting it down after this. I got to get healthy, get right to the playoffs. He has a big game in Philly, shuts it down, comes back, and it just never went away. And after the season, I believe he was supposed to have ankle surgery. I don't know 100% if that actually got done, but I believe it did. And it is still lingering. He's still getting treatment and everything. So the timeline of where he's at right now, would fit with that timeline if he did have surgery. You know, I do think that he'll probably be okay. I think this is something that's fixable, and he just needed the time to get it right. And, you know, those injuries can linger quite a while. So, you know, he comes back. I think he's going to be probably on a mission, which I think is probably a really good thing for this team. Mike's always kind of a guy that plays a little bit angry and is fooled by, you know, everything, whether it's Devontae Parker making a comment. Yes. So he's reading everything. I'm sure he sees people doubting him right now. Like that's the fuel. You want Mike mad. Like you want him to be in some real adversity. And I think that pull of things was starting to run out a little bit after you have an 1,800-yard season and, you know, statistically possibly the best season ever by a wide receiver. So now he has a whole new pull of things to pull from. And you know, I think Mike's going to come back and he's going to be great, but he needs to be great. Like their wide receiver depth chart is set up the way he needs to dominate every game. I think both these quarterbacks are going to need him to be who he was a couple of years ago. And I don't think that'll be a problem. It's just, you know, a matter of did he get, you know, healthy, good surgery and all that. And I think the answers to all those things are probably yes.
How much does a new quarterback change his skill set? Because he's known as, you know, Mikey Slants, and, you know, he got roasted for, you know, only catching short balls. Yes. So how much does a new quarterback that can throw the ball down the field? Will we see like a Michael Thomas 2.0 almost?
Yeah, first thing, I think Mike getting roasted for dominating on slants is like the dumbest thing ever because he dominates on them every single play, and if you can't stop it, just keep doing the same thing.
We've all played Madden before. I'm learning the same play.
Exactly.
But yeah, look, go back to the 2016 before the offense started becoming condensed, and he was doing a lot of stuff down the field then. I don't think he's going to be, you know, a deep threat or anything like that, but I think he can play a much more intermediate game. He did it a little bit with Payton last year. In those games, those 4 games, he was down the field a little bit more. So I think that there's an aspect of his game that hasn't really quite been tapped into a little bit. And there was just such a fundamental shift of how their offense changed from 2016 to 2017. Like, you can start going through, like, I've charted every pass Breeze ever threw. And, like, you can look, and it's just like, oh, okay, like, he went 0 for 8 on corner routes, 15 yards or longer in 16, and then by 17, they just weren't throwing them anymore. And, you know, I got plays like, you know, I hand draw a lot of the plays they run. And the plays, like, there would be vertical elements to them, and then by 17 and 18, those vertical elements, it's the same stuff on the left side, but now the stuff on the right side where it was 2 go routes or, you know, someone digging out of safety, all of a sudden now is like a 17-yard crossing route. So, like, they were changing their offense and condensing it to bring it in to suit the stuff that Breeze was able to do. And I think Mike fit really well into that, but the you know, the routes where he was going 15 yards down the field, they just disappeared. So I think he can do more of that, and I do think that's going to be one of the ways that the offense changes just overall. I think it's going to benefit Traquan Smith a whole lot. His last year in college at Central Florida, he was the number 1 receiver on you know, yards per target, and that hasn't been the case here. I don't think he's ever really fit this offense, but I think he will if they can do a little bit more stuff down the field, because the main thing with Traquan is, like, he's not a detail-oriented player. He's always messing up. You know, his splits will be a little bit off, or something, you know, something will be a little bit off, like right as he's getting off the line of scrimmage. And when it's Breeze making his read and he's getting the ball out in 2.3 seconds, you don't really have the time to overcome that. So Breeze is looking at him and okay, this is messed up. I'm going somewhere else. I think now, like, if Traquan's a little bit dirty getting off the line, Jameis or Payton can hold the ball. He can wait for those players to actually get open down the field and get the ball to them. So I think it's going to benefit some of those guys as well.
How much of an eye roll did you do when Jared Cook this weekend threw a little shade at the Saints, saying, when nowadays with the Chargers, saying this is the best team we've had and so much more talent than they had in New Orleans?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably crazy because last year on paper the Saints had like an extremely talented team, and then things just didn't quite work out that way. I mean, you know, Mike got hurt, True got hurt.
Wait, he's the guy that fumbled the ball in the playoffs. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you just shut your mouth.
Out of all people.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was a little bit unnecessary. Yeah, and you're right. He cost them, you know, their season potentially in some ways. So, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a little bit of a weird thing to say, because I thought last year's Saints team on paper was just, you know, it was ridiculously talented. And like I said, the circumstances changed it a little bit, but I don't think Cook needed to quite say that. And I'm not sure
we just had
I'm not sure I agree with their
talk. Yeah, why?
You go a million miles outside of your way to say that. How do you feel about Adam Troutman and fitting into the primary target at tight end now?
I think he's got a lot to prove. He had 172 yards last year. He had moments that I thought were really good. His blocking, I thought, was exceptional for a rookie coming from where he came from. But I think, he does have a ton to prove. And I think he can probably be pretty good for them. The talent's there. We saw it in the glimmers. But, taking those glimmers and turning it into like a prolonged exposure, it's going to be tougher. I mean, and there's a lot riding on him. And, Nick Van Ent is someone that they look at it and they think he can be more of a pass catcher than he has been throughout his career. We'll see on that too. I mean, they're leaving a lot up to chance at that position. And I think you'd feel a little bit better about, just the overall picture at tight end if they had that number 2 receiver that could maybe take some of the pressure off of it. But it kind of goes back to the Mike thing where it's, Mike's the number 1 pass catcher all the way across the board. And now everything else is a little bit thinner. The one thing that I do think that can change for them a little bit, just overall looking at the entire passing game, is I think that Alvin Kamara can go back to his role that he was in 2017, where he ran a lot of routes out of the slot. In the last couple of years, he really didn't do that. And the reason for that, I think, especially last year, is that I think they had to keep him extremely close to Breeze just for that check down because he wasn't able to throw the ball down the field. And, suddenly everything's gone. You go to Alvin saves you. And he was able to save him more times than not. But I think that he can go back to being more of a dynamic playmaker with the quarterback that isn't quite as limited, I guess is the word I'd use for Breeze off season.
You mentioned Drew Brees. Was there any chance of him, like you're more connected than anybody with the New Orleans Saints in the media, would you say, were there any whispers in the building of Drew Brees coming back? Was it a cut and dry retirement, or was he interested in, because he just wanted one more healthy year, it seemed like, and he just couldn't get it quite right. So were there any whispers of him coming back one more season and trying one more time and just to be completely healthy?
No, it was pretty cut and dry. I think for the whole season, the thought was that he was going to retire. The year before, there was a lot of back and forth. There were whispers that he was retiring, and then he ended up coming back. So I think last year was a surprise. This year, I think, went exactly how it was supposed to go. I started wondering personally. I never heard anything to this effect. I just wondered if there was going to be a moment of where he lost his conviction just due to how weird last season was, injuries, no fans, all that stuff. And I wondered if he was going to say, hey, like, I deserve a better send out than this. This was weird. I want to do it again. But no, nothing like that ever happened. It was pretty clear the whole way through. I know the Todd Durkin video came out and people started getting a little bit uncomfortable. And there were even people, with the team that were just kind of like, what is this? But yeah, I mean, it was nothing. And I think it was pretty clear that he was going out the whole way.
Get your subscription to NewOrleans.football this offseason going into next fall. If you do not already have it, if you have it, you understand what you're privy to, and that is the best information that you can get from the Saints organization. I always tell the testimony of Alvin Kamara in a post-game press conference last season saying that Nick Underhill had better sources in the building than he did, and he's the best player in the league, much less the team. It is the offseason, so good things happen over there. He's got a great YouTube channel as well, NOF.TV is where if you want to find him. NewOrleans.football, NewOrleansFootball.tv is where you can find them. Pelicans podcast, Saints podcast, all there to check out. Thank you, man, for the update. We will be in touch here in the offseason, and as we said, looking forward to working together in the football season.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Take it easy, guys.
All right, man. There he is, Nick Underhill, checking in this morning from NewOrleans.football as a little update there on the black and gold. Daily brought to you by Edward Jones. Remember, online at edwardjones.com. Our guy has been helping us out for so long. Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. He's out in Central, located in the parking lot there right across from Stabs. If you're at lunch, stop in and see Daniel Newman. Tell him you heard it here on the Jordy Culotta Show, as he can help you out, whether you work at any of the chemical plants, Dow, BASF, Exxon, and you've got questions about your finances and 401k, Social Security, any of the questions that you may have, Edward Jones can get them answered for you today. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. We'll be back and close it out here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
All right, welcome back here to the Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show here on YouTube, Facebook, JordyCulottaShow.com, presented by Go Chevrolet. It is, man.
Almost Friday.
Almost Friday.
Are y'all going to be in? Are you going to do some
I don't know.
content? We'll see.
That was living the high life.
No
dude.
pressure on.
I'm surprised he showed up today.
I'm coming back as Noah, bro. My man is.
You link up with Jordy Culotta, look what happens.
Good time to be alive.
High rollers.
Appreciate everybody for interacting. We're going to take off and head to the beach for a couple of days. Going to take a little Jay down there, Mikel. Yep. Go meet for the. Go meet a couple of old friends, man. This is something. Second summer we've done this with childhood friends. Yeah, it's a good time. Get everybody together, man. All the kids together.
Reconnect. How much are you a part of that organizational probability?
0.
Yes.
0.
Just bring yourself.
0.
That's not because I'm 100%.
Got the text. Are you in or you out? I'm in. Perfect. That's all we need to know.
Because I'm 100% that person in our group. Like, just bring yourself.
Yes.
Like, don't worry about it.
I'll bring a little Jay.
Yeah.
Bring in 4 sandwich selections. Big sandwiches.
Ham. Turkey. Roast beef.
And a muffalata.
Oh, of
3
course.
turkeys and a muffalata.
Yeah. Gotta represent.
Yeah. Rizzuto. Hey, what are the boys?
No bologna from Chef John Paul. And you got the spices you can bring too.
Yeah, we're gonna bring some spices. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that, man. Getting away for a couple of days and then getting back in here. We'll be back here on Friday. I anticipate by the time we get back that we'll have something to talk about as far as LSU's baseball coach.
We might FaceTime you from the beach.
That's fine. That's fine. If something happens here in the meantime. But, you know, as we said going into today's show, that people that were tracking planes over the weekend saw that LSU's private jet was in Omaha.
That's probably something that they never realized would turn into an addiction, and now they're like tracking planes. Like, oh, I know how to do this. Like, when you bring that to a dinner party, it's like, what the hell are you doing? Why do you know how to do that?
And the other piece of news here on this Monday morning that was dominant was that Mike Bianco was inked to an extension at Ole Miss and put out a statement last night saying that he was happy in Oxford and looks forward to trying to win championships moving forward in Ole Miss. So. That is a name that has been scratched off the list, one that has been very well thought of as being at times the leader for this job. So yes, it was very much take this to the bank type analysis from a lot of people. So so it was so good Monday. If anything pops, we will obviously be in touch. But we will have some activity on the channel for the next couple of days. We'll be replaying some old interviews. Some of the things that has happened here in our first couple of months while being on the air. This also gives us a chance to thank you yet again for our success and our growth here in the first couple of months going into our first football season. The way that you have responded, shared, liked, commented, subscribed, all of that has been instrumental in what we're trying to achieve here every single day. We've got great sponsors and supporters, people that I hope that you are out in community utilizing their services and telling them that you hear it here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We appreciate that very much. And as always, you just being there, because we know that you have options and you have choices. And for you to come to us every single morning means a lot, and it does not go unrecognized. So we appreciate that very, very much. Enjoy your vacation if you're out there experiencing one. If you have one on the horizon, go get them, and good luck to you. We'll be on the next 72 hours. We'll be out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll be back here on Friday morning as we'll go live. So thanks to everybody for being out there. Yes, sir?
What's the weather report?
Not good.
It seems like that, yeah.
Not good.
I'm looking outside.
Yeah.
Well, no. Presently, right now in Baton Rouge, it looks like
I think this is coming with
like
you.
Armageddon. Yes, but it does feel like I could be tractor trailering this with me and pulling these clouds. But you know what? The beach is the beach.
I was about to say, if you can't go, because if it's a rainy day, not many people go to the beach. Do y'all board games? Is that the move?
Board games, and I saw little Jay had packed up one of our goals here. That we have inside that usually turns into some pretty fierce games of horse.
Nice. He'll be entertained. He'll be fine.
In fact, no, it's good to have you back. We've got to catch up on some Harper's giveaways here. If you want to see if you can't knock down a couple of J's before we get out of here. Okay. You want to get back in?
Let's say I don't want to see a regular Ben Simmons in here.
Lil Jay and I were in here watching some. I was doing some work over the weekend, and we were watching some basketball, and he was shooting them up. So.
Is he automatic?
How was it? Yeah.
He's pretty good. That's why I was trying to get him in here this morning to shoot. And
stage fright?
No, I went to check on the little dude, and he's still asleep.
Oh, you.
He's
still sleeping.
He's still asleep.
I thought he was first awake at the party, brother.
Trying to get his. So did I. I guess he's trying to get his rest in here for the vacation.
Yeah. All right, I'm firing up here. Let's see.
Right,
this is the hardest shot in the gym, by the way. I got
you got a camera angle here where we can get Sam some love.
You can see it on the thing.
Oh,
let's go, dude. Let's go.
You kidding me?
Okay. Are you kidding me? Ben Simmons, come talk to me.
250. No? Hit the roof? You got to watch the roof. All right.
Boom, boy. That felt so good, dude. A little flick of the wrist.
Go ahead, Lizzie.
Yeah, from a different area code.
Let's go to Brandon Hollingsworth. The slim lender, as he is labeled. Hollingsworth could probably use the $250 upgrade over at Harper's Haberdashery. Okay, bro, nice shot. I just saw it play in the background. Got the roll. Wow, talking major shit. Feeling himself. All right, Hollingsworth, the slim lender. Get over to Sam Willard at Harper's Haberdashery and tell him that. You got $250 from the Jordy Culotta Show, and I agree with you on Ben Simmons. Is he right-handed? Is he left-handed? He should start shooting right-handed this offseason.
Might as well change it now.
Why not?
Could you imagine if he came back and shot right-handed?
What if he came back and shot like 60%?
Right.
I think he has to.
Turns into like
it can't get worse.
A 45% for three-point
Well,
shooter.
you're one of the best players in the NBA.
He goes 50, 40, 90.
I'm telling you, he's going to go to the Lakers and come back right-handed.
All right. Enjoy your Monday.
Will Wade, get at me. Scholarship. I'm still available.
Easy, bro. Easy, bro. Easy over there. Enjoy it.
Better
See
than the
y'all.
tuba player.
The two